briefly, I mean, I told you about Julian Cope, didn't we? I think it was Julian Cope because he turned up at his kids' primary school, you know.
And that's it, of course, in the song, Mike.
A krautrock kind of, I think he had a German helmet on
Yeah.
and kind of, you know, pair of tights
Exactly.
and stacks, you know, like this. So, and he's 6'2" anyway, so he turns up 7 feet, probably kind of one side of his face painted yellow, like he does, with the side painted blue. And it's because I'm in a band.
But he has his own verse.
Yeah,
He's the open day at the school. My nasty helmet looks real cool.
Yeah.
You know.
But
at the end of that verse, it's like the scholars and the idiots all want a piece of me.
Yeah.
So you know he's being himself. He's being rock and roll, but he's also, you know, he's articulate. He's a brilliant songwriter, and he's practically a professor of antiquinet and of antique type stuff.
Yes, I knew what you meant. But that thing about touching on the solidarity with that gang mentality, that's something that every band that I've been in is precious to you. Because when we were just talking before about, you know, if you play a bad gig, it could be in front of 10,000 people. If it's a bad gig, it's a bad gig. In front of 50 people, it's a good gig. And the band mentality, that's something that, I mean, it's getting the van. All these kind of things are all kind of pertinent to it because you're experiencing that with yourselves, and there's only those 3, 4, 5 people that can experience that. So when somebody comes up to you and says that was brilliant, and you turn around and go, it wasn't, regardless of whether they've had a good time or not, the band that's what's precious about everything. And as soon as it goes beyond the band, then it's not the band. And that solidarity and the kind of sticking together in all, you know, adversity is something that binds you together. The strength, the strength between you all, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, some of the lines in that song are kind of, there's a comedic element as well, isn't there, about you know, big house, fit wife, being made for life. So I've used a lot of the cliches around rock and roll, which don't apply to
me.
No, but they're not exclusive requirements to feel that.
No.
That sense of belief in something.
Sure. Right, show another track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jump the Brook Ruth.
Jump the brook, Ruth. Jump the brook, Ruth. It isn't very deep. I built a dam, but it isn't very steep. Jump the brook, Ruth. Break a leg, kid. It's not alright. 'Cause you're going home in an ambulance tonight. Jump the brook, Ruth.
Well, I think one of that track's real strengths is, I mean, Bone's done loads of great Ebo stuff on the album, on some of the quiet stuff, but the Ebo on Jump the Brook is great, and really kind of, I don't know, the Ebo kind of curves around the parts. I like it as a sound.
There's a lot of Ebo. I mean, that again, I think that's just added to our sound. That's part of our sound that developed. I mean, originally I was putting Ebo on every track. It's like, oh, Ebo. I love doing Ebos. I love layering them up, and I just thought, well, Ebo overload. You know, we've got it on one song. Let's not use it again on the album. But it's crept in, hasn't it? It's crept in a few songs, and it's really found its place. You know, it's sort of dictating the song now, and we've kept it in. I mean, that's part of our.
And that track's got like some psychedelic guitar riffs on it, and some of the bridge riffs are a bit kind of almost funky.
Yeah.
But
well, the Parlour Flames sound that you've got now, and I mean, sometimes I think, as you know yourselves, collaborations can take 2, 3, 4, 5 albums to really kind of hit a sweet spot, and it sounds like you've done it with the first thing that you've done together. And I think, I mean, maybe I'm wishing your lives away, but have you actually started to think about Parlour Flames 2?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, it's I've got some great ideas. Vinny's got some great ideas. I mean, when we're away from each other, we're busy doing, you know.
Putting down templates and bits and bobs and recording bits. Well, I've been recording. I was actually recording yesterday at mine, just more stuff to bring into, to the pot.
Right, because obviously, I mean, people kind of think, well, the album's out. Well, by the time the album... When's your album coming out, by the way? It's on Cherry Red, isn't it?
On Cherry Red, it's coming out on May the 20th.
May the 20th. Because by the time it comes out and you start touring that, it'll have been, 6 months, 9 months since you've actually kind of got it together.
Yeah.
So, it's album Parlour Flames 2. Is that what it's called? The title of the album is Parlour
Flames.
Yeah, we just went for the name of the band as the title of the album. You know, like Led Zeppelin and Thin Lizzy and
The Smiths.
Yeah.
You know what?
Did you forget that?
I love saying eponymously titled.
Eponymously, yeah.
Eponymously titled.
Yeah. No, I forgot about the Smiths. Yeah, of course. Sorry. Yeah, no, I know you haven't forgotten about them.
Anyway, hey, the Smiths. No, we're talking here about Parlour Flames. So we have one last track. Too Soon the Darkness.
Now you are gone. Try on your waistcoat. It's too big. Feels strange. And I wear the hat that you wore. Oh. Stage. Watch the DVD again. Watch the DVD again. I say thank you.
So, Too Soon the Darkness. Now, I remember when we were working together, Vinny, and it's about your uncle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, he had a massive influence on you, didn't he? I know that we were saying before about your dad and pulling out the stops and stuff, but this was a lot deeper, wasn't it, with your uncle?
Well, it was a different kind of relationship to the relationship with my dad. I mean, our Jimmy died about 6 years ago, and he was quite inspirational. He was a jazz musician. He was, he was gigging a lot. I think he did, in his 60s, he was doing up to like 10, 12 jazz gigs a week. He was very busy. But he was like a bit of a spiritual advisor to me up the north. His life is not that dissimilar to mine in the sense that he grew up in the same village as me, but he moved up the north. He ended up in Rochdale. Right. But so if my life was falling apart as an adult, as lives tend to do intermittently, he was he'd meet us at usually for breakfast at a service station and Holt Council, and he turned something that was really tragic and seemed awful to me, like my kid was moving miles away, into an adventure. Let's buy a caravan. It's like that was the kind of guy he was really positive. So, and also as a kid, he, for me and my cousins, he was like this sort of exciting figure who used to come into our lives and take us on adventures, take us up Snowdon or, he was very spontaneous. He was a teacher, and that song's really just kind of reflects on I wrote these words after he died. And left them for ages, and then I found this old track I had at home that I'd marked Sparkle Horse, and I just put those words to it. And it was I brought it in and played it to Bone, and he said, "Oh, I think we can really do something with this." And we were chuffed with it, and the guitar drama and the whole sort of the emotional side of it. Still, sort of with me, I find it quite touching that I'm able to kind of get that out and for our Jim, even though he's been gone like 7 years.
Sure, but it is a very dramatic track, and in terms of kind of storytelling within the album, I thought it was a really poignant way to kind of tie up the album.